What's up? Sound like a velociraptor. Velociraptor says. So, all right, day 2, episode 2. Trying to rock this out, trying to get more efficient with this thing. I think this thing sort of brings out the fact that there are so many different ways to slice this. Obviously, this show is really designed for a few things, just to put my voice out there as a way to connect with everybody authentically in a very hopefully meaningful way, and that we'll just kind of see how this goes. I think it's important to first and foremost to have consistency and all those types of things. And we'll just kind of work through it as we go. I think a couple things in this process, we were going with, what you call it, blog talk radio. And I quickly found out that, first and foremost, I'm trying to do this in a way that it's free, and also in a way that, obviously, it's an ROT, return on time. We'll go with time. Obviously, time is a commodity, and we think about that as an actual expenditure, almost as if you're budgeting it. And so anyway, along with that and going with blog talk radio is what I was going to try to do. Quickly found out that as I was trying to do that, it was so much nonsense involved. And that it flat out just didn't work with my workflow. So there it went. Goodbye. No need to automate you and have you go through that. And I can automate it in an entirely different way. And that's one important subject I think this kind of brings up for today, is that the importance to quickly be able to assess what is going to work for you and not, and then when it doesn't work out, you just move on. No big deal at all. It's something that's it's actually a positive thing, because mistakes have to be made in order for you to progress and to grow and to fulfill your purpose as best as possible. So that was one thing I found out, and then we're trying to do this through another podcast. Delio, I can't think of the name off the top of my head. I'll post it on Parler or wherever. We'll find out. It's all right. No big deal. And so I think the big thing that points out is just the importance of continuing your mission and moving forward as best as humanly possible. So, let me see here. One of the things that I definitely wanted to talk about, and the other part of this, is that just as a way to communicate with everyone as far as what's going on, a major part of this project, or doing it this way, is it sets me just aside of 15 minutes of time to communicate with you all the different things that I have going on. One thing in particular, is that a word? I just made it a word. So one thing in particular is that with what we're trying to do is the last colony. And I still have no word or no news per se as to when we hope to do the crowdfund for that, but be assured everyone will be hopefully aware of that, and we'll make it known to the world as we put out that information abroad, the different channels. One thing that I think is really huge for this is that we're definitely trying a strategy that is on our own. It's on our own platform. The crowdfunding is on our own platform. Everything is going to be on our own ship, so to speak. And I have a lot of different reasonings for that. And it's really, I'm really super excited about that possibility. But in turn, it also requires support from you guys. As an artist, well, this kind of brings up I'm going to back out for a second, because this brings up another really huge subject for artists, is that I know this is probably sacrilege to some artist out there, I guarantee it, but you know what? This is not for you. This is your moment to bow out. This is not the show for you. I'm not the guy we're going to be hanging out with. No big deal. But here's the thing. It's okay to make money as an artist. No, really, it's okay. No more fretting about it. No more getting anxious about it. It's really okay. This whole idea that artists should be sort of the starving artist and wear that arm on wear that patch on your arm type of a thing I think is absolutely absurd and ridiculous, because how are you going to raise a family? How are you going to put food on the table for either your significant other, or pull your weight within your particular household? That even if you're by yourself, you still have obligations. Now, obviously, there are individuals out there that have made an incredible art out of it to be able to be self-sustaining, and I am all for that as well. But bottom line is, there still has to be a way to, you still have to pay property tax, at least here within the United States. I don't know of anyone getting away from that, or there's other obligations. You're still going to have to spend some area or in some place within your budget. And so you have to come up with a way of funding yourself. So that being said, what we're doing, and one of the ways we're trying to fund Tikvah Inc. with the full scope of ultimately this whole idea of rethinking education, rethinking art education, is that we're going to be publishing, or Tikvah Inc. and under Tikvah Inc. is going to be publishing The Last Colony, the comic book. And we're doing our first installment of that. It's going to be about 36 pages. And that's really just basically just the first chapter, really just to dip our feet in it and just really get an enthusiasm for it. Because ultimately, that next stage in 2021 is that we want to make this into a full graphic novel book. I don't know how many pages about, but it would be a full graphic novel book, an actual physical book, and then instead of a sort of your newsstand comic book edition, if you will. So with that, we need your support. We absolutely need your support to make this into reality, to make this book into reality. There's so many different reasons in terms of comic book industry just colliding in on itself, as far as DC or Marvel, and just the insanity that they're trying to produce. There was I don't even know the name of the artist. It's so forgettable, for crying out loud. I can't think of it. What's her name? Give me a second here. Captain Marvel, that's it. So with Captain Marvel, I don't know who did this drawing. I don't know with the whole comic book. I have no idea about it, but the artwork was atrocious. If I had put, here's the thing, is that as artists and pursuing an art, you want to give it your best, your absolute best, 100%. And then with each iteration or each new comic book, there has to be a striving to do better than the last time. And so anyway, the fact is that it came out of Marvel with Captain Marvel, and it was just a hideous drawing of Captain Marvel. There was nothing endearing about it. There was nothing beautiful about it. It was literally... If Marvel is who they say they are in terms of really promoting this sort of high standard of what is drawing, what is illustration, and all those sort of things, they clearly missed the mark there. If it was someone, that was just brand new, starting out and getting going into the industry, and then, they make another go at it and they do even better than the previous time, that's an entirely different story. But if we're talking about Marvel, seriously, they have an entire studio from Disney dedicated to these guys. And this is the type of silliness that they're producing. So the point is that that's just a microcosm of just all the different, be it DC, be it Marvel, that are just producing stuff that frankly is this catering to these SJWs that can frankly never be catered to. They'll never be pleased. It's just one of those, a girlfriend that I have in the past where you can't please at any turn. So you're like, you know what? I'm just not going to deal with it. I'm not going to deal with her. I'm moving on with life. And that's exactly what's going to happen to DC and Marvel. And on top of it, there's other issues regarding that as far as like Diamond Distributions. Diamond Distributions has really sunk the ship because they've hitched their wagon to those two companies. And along with the, as they say on YouTube's, the COOF, which we'll properly name here as COVID-19 and etc., that this whole bit is the fact that it has really, sort of that ma and pa shop, if you will, of comic book stores. I certainly haven't been to my comic book store since, goodness gracious, well before March of this year, 2020, and my heart certainly goes out to those individuals, the comic book store owner, but I frankly can't imagine sitting in their shoes right now. But in the end, this is entrepreneurship. It's truly the survival of the fittest, because that ensures that if you're moving forward or you're taking a stand on a particular thing, then that is showing leadership, which then those individuals around you or those that you're trying to influence, be it your clients, your customers, those types of things, will ultimately come to your side and be able to help you out and support you in one fashion or another, whatever your type of business plan is for your illustrations and artwork. And the comic book industry is certainly in a sad state. That's obviously the bad news. The good news regarding that, though, is the fact that it is definitely opening up the door for individual artists to either make their own book into the world, to be able to crowdfund it, to get it printed at a high quality. I'm talking high quality paper, high quality. And yes, there is definitely a market such as Altoona Comics that is definitely trying to go down a path of, hey, let's make these comics, let's make them super affordable. And I'd highly recommend them as a source for reading materials and kind of their overall business model. They're printing at a newsprint quality paper, and it's not as high quality, but it's definitely sort of the floppies, as they call them in the comic book industry. And it's a really unique strategy of stories that matter and not catering to this endless sort of SJW where you can never meet their standards. You will never meet their standards. And that's a good thing. I think that's a fantastic thing. So with Example Alterna is that they're producing their work. They're going to have a really cool business model, and I would recommend that you check their stuff out. But there's also another side of it, and those individuals like myself that it sounds intriguing to maybe print through them. But man, I love having a really cool just a really cool high quality type of work that is being printed. That's exciting to me. That's something, just the paper. I'm always the one playing around with the paper as far as like, ooh, what kind of quality is this? Type of a thing. And I know it's kind of geeky and nerdy, but that's my thing. And so with that being said, to be able to produce this project, we need your help. There's no way about it. So go to ElijahLoving.com/The Last Colony. ElijahLoving.com/The Last Colony, and jump on board. You'll actually get a free type pencil with that too. So hey, that's it guys for today. Thank you for listening. Appreciate your time, and like before, do your very best and never stop